They were born in Apia, Samoa.
Mom was.
I know the village that he was from was Faleasiu. Is his mom from Vailoa Faleata? Yeah, Vailoa Faleata.
Back in Samoa.
I know Dad had a rough. His growing up was a movie. It was a rough movie. But I know he had like a rough upbringing, especially being the oldest. And then with Mom, I don't really recall her talking about her childhood as far as like her personally, but like seeing the way she is now. And the stories that she would tell us is that she was always with Grandma and Grandpa Kavika and Malamalangi Tasi growing up in the church and serving and watching them serve. They moved out here basically after getting married, maybe like the early 20s, mid 20s. It was basically due to Mom's upbringing, her connection, and also Grandpa and Grandma's connection here with the extended family here in Seattle.
Yeah,
right.
You're right. You already had connections because of Grandma and Grandpa.
I mean, I knew that she lived with a family and came from Samoa because her parents wanted her to study here and go to school. I believe she was around 11. I know that she had trouble with English. Her and Auntie Mary taught each other. She taught her Samoan and then Auntie Mary taught her English by reading the Bible. And that's about it.
I mean, I know Dad has his stories and he's shared us with his stories. I won't put him on blast, so y'all won't get that exclusive.
Their story was really a classic one. The bad boy player type who settles down for the good girl who was just, everything was good about her.
I heard that Dad was a player and Mom was a good girl, and he wanted to see if he can get her, and yeah, he got her.
I remember him saying that she was a good girl, and so she wouldn't really give him the time of day for a while, and he had to work for her.
What Dad told me was that Mom said no to him a couple times. It might have been 10, or I think it was like 10, but I think Mom denied him probably like 100 times.
You know, when him and Mom, when he was interested in Mom, he was always saying that, man, you know your mom? Just the most beautiful girl in all of Samoa.
But Mom told me that a lot of girls liked him. He was so handsome, and she didn't really like chase after him. So Dad was the chaser.
I think in her heart she knew that this was the man that was for her. She probably didn't want to believe it. It was like, Lord, please, not this answer. But it was a movie.
I just know Dad said she was the most beautiful woman in his eyes, and that's what he went after.
Dad he never really tried to talk about his past. It's not that he wasn't proud of it, it's just he was moved on beyond it, but I know he'll hint here and there that the things that he did, he wasn't really proud of, but I think those things he learned from to try to tell us what, not to do, which kind of showed how far he came, especially now that he was, serving God. He had it rough, so not a lot of people know like the reason why he was so tough, because he had a tough upbringing that had a lot to do with his character. He was also real family oriented. He held not only his sisters but also his brothers to a standard, and also himself. Mom, she was a different breed. She was soft spoken. She always spoke from love. Anything she said was spoke from love. But there's a part of her where, when Mom's got mad, I think Dad was scared of that too. I think that kind of scared Dad too. It might have excited him and scared him too. So.
Mom was telling me a story about how my husband, Brandon, when he was young, as soon as he learned how to do laundry, he started to do his laundry separately. He didn't want his laundry mixed with his brother's laundry. And she thought it was so funny. And she said he's just like his dad, or he's just like Dad in that way. And Mom told me that when she first got with Dad, he was spoiled. She said there was people around his house to help and do his laundry and iron his clothes. And she said, when she got with him, the first thing on her mind was, I hope he doesn't expect me to do all that. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know, Brendan hates when I do his laundry because I'm always losing his socks. And Dad was sitting there too. And he was like, if he doesn't like how you do his laundry, tell him to do his own laundry. And we were all sitting there laughing. I just thought it was the funniest thing.
But I think one that really sticks out is when she used to tell me all the time that she was praying for me to come into Yeti's life. She's like, I'm praying for a woman like you to come into Yeti's life. And I think what I didn't realize was I was praying for someone like her to also come into mine. And sorry, I'm emotional. I think she came at a very important time in my life because I had lost my mom a couple years prior, and there was a lot of things that a lot of new chapters I was going to be entering that I was really nervous and really scared to enter without having my mother there. I remember I talked to her the first time and I told her, no, I don't want a wedding. I don't want anything. And they were very adamant that we were having a wedding and they were throwing it for us. She made me feel as if I did have my mother there and that I did, I wasn't lacking anything in that area. And so I think I'm truly grateful that, you know, she welcomed me very quickly and, you know, with open arms, and just, I think that's who she was just a loving person. And it truly reminded me of my mom and who my mom was. And so I think, although, yes, I'm such a blessing to Yeti and to your family, I truly think that she was also a big blessing in mine, and that she helped heal a lot of places that I didn't know were still broken. And for that, I'll be grateful.
I got caught smoking. In my biological family, there wasn't like strict rules, or it was more like, hey, you're alive, you're good, you know? And how mad and upset they got. And it's the first time Dad actually was yelling at me, and was like so mad that he was yelling at me in Samoan, and I didn't know what he was saying, but I knew I was in trouble. You could just see the care and like the worry. And then after Mom said, I had to tell your dad that he has to go gentle because you're Palangi. You can't handle any salsa or anything because you're fragile.
One thing he did come up to me, and he, first of all, I don't know why he was getting all of a sudden he's getting emotional now and he's getting soft. I guess it's, you know, it's becoming of age. But he broke down to me, and he had his pause, and he just apologized for how he raised us, and well, not how he raised us, but you know, how he disciplined us and how he handled certain things.
I remember Mom told me one time that the most that she had ever done was smoke a cigarette, and she said she took one puff and, you know, choked, and she never touched it again. She regretted it instantly. And it was when she, while growing up in Seattle, when her parents sent her to go to school here, she loved her parents like we do, and she just never wanted to disappoint them. Even after Grandma and Grandpa passed, she was always trying to follow in their footsteps.
I remember how much Dad loved his kids was when he went to go drop off Yeti at the daycare. And I guess Yeti, he stayed there and he watched. Well, Mom was at work and he went to drop off Yeti. And he said he just wanted to see if somebody was gonna pick Yeti up when he was crying. I guess Yeti was crying for Dad said he was crying for a long time, but Mom said he was probably crying for just 2 minutes. But Yeti was crying and nobody picked him up. So Dad went right back in there, picked him up and said, my son's never coming in here. You guys don't care about him. And took him back and told Mom he's quitting his job and he's gonna stay home with the kids. And I was like, man, it just shows how much Dad loves his kids. And I love how they both, you know, with work and ministry, they didn't neglect the fact that they had kids.
When I first found out I had some type of depression and anxiety, I would just sit there and cry in my room. And one night, Mom just came in and we was crying together, and she told me the story of how she found out she was pregnant with me. She got home and Grandma was sleeping, and she went to go make her food. She was waiting to tell Grandma that she was pregnant with me. And that's one of the moments that I felt like wasn't a mistake. I started feeling better about myself. And she went to go wake Grandma up, and she was gone. Come full circle, we're pregnant. And I was waiting for Mom and Dad to get out to tell them. Just so happened God decided to call them home. And I also remember just every night that I would pray, I would sometimes wake up to him at my door, just praying over me and making sure all that depression was out the door and the devil wasn't trying to sneak into my life. Those were one of the moments I share with him deeply. Really helped me through everything growing up as a baby of the family. Yeah, gonna miss you, Mom and Dad.
As parents, I'd say they worked hard to give their kids the best that they could and sacrificed the best that they could to give the you know, myself and, you know, their kids just, you know, things that they never had. And also just raising us, you know, with morals, obviously in the Word of God, but hardworking and sacrificed a lot. And we did a lot of things together as a family. You know, I remember that. You know, they wanted to make sure that we try to do as many things. We even had a family cleaning business together that I remember when I was young. You know, I think it was like Monday, Wednesdays, and even Fridays before youth service. We would go clean, and then, you know, it was just part of, we didn't look at it as clean, we just looked at it as something to do. And little did we know we was just helping Mom build their brand and business. And I guess that's how we learned how to clean too. Give us $20 and go to McDonald's, and then on our way to youth service.
I think one of my favorite funny stories would be that Dad decided that he wanted to do our marriage counseling before we got married. And he had told us that he had thought about going with another pastor, but that he had decided that he wanted to give us our marriage counseling. The first word he said was, you know, the first sentence was, "I'm not going to cry. I'm going to treat you like any other couple I counsel." That probably lasted about 3 or 4 minutes, and he just started crying, so just hysterically. And the funny part was, your mom was in the kitchen and she yelled something at him in Samoan, and I didn't know what she said. But when we left, Yeti said that his mom was yelling for him to get it together.
Poor Mom, obviously. I'm gonna miss just talking to her, because I used to talk to her a lot. Even if she was busy, I would just send her pictures throughout the day. She just loved pictures of the kids. And I'm always taking pictures. I'm gonna miss that the most. I'm gonna miss talking to her, listening to her talk to the kids on FaceTime. You know, she was far, but she always made sure to be present with the kids. That's what I miss most so far. What I miss most about Dad is that he always took my side when it was me and my husband. I was always right, he would tell him. Anytime they visited, my husband is strict with our kids, so they get in trouble if they don't say excuse me when they run in front of Mom and Dad. And Dad was always like, just let my grandkids be. It's fine.
What I'll miss most about Mom, her gentle way, her motherly touch, and it reached through the phone. You know, we live in California, but you could just feel it. And I've come across so many stories of people who just felt my mom's genuine love. She never missed a birthday, never missed, even with the distance, never missed Easter, never missed just made sure that my kids and my nieces and nephews, all of them, felt her love and my dad's love, no matter where. And I believe that's going to stay true, and I'm gonna continue that and make sure that that your kids know, your grandkids know how much you love them.
With Mom, I'm gonna miss my best friend. Dad, I'm gonna miss his calls on like the randomest stuff that was so concerning about him at the moment that he had to know exactly right then, or let us know about right then and there that he saw in the news, or just making sure that we're all okay and doing what we need to do. I'm just gonna miss everything about them.
There's countless things that I miss about Mom. And after that, we'll pick me up, we'll have our moment, or like just our personal time with each other. We'll get home, Dad will walk in first, and the first thing I see is Mom in the kitchen, cleaning, cooking, or maybe even coming down the stairs. Most of my days is rough, or maybe stressful sometimes. But just seeing Mom's face and being able to see her and saying, "Hi, Mom," she'll just look, "Hi, son, how was your day?" Just hearing her voice, and also missing the presence, because now it's like, I know they're not home anymore. What else do I get to come home to? Like even when they will go on trips, I know they will come home. When I will go to work, I know they'll be home when I get back. Or if I go on a trip myself, they're not gonna be home. That's like one thing there's countless things I'll miss, but those are the ones that comes to mind.
Me is seeing Mom in the kitchen. Always having a home cooked meal since I can remember. I remember coming home to a home cooked meal. After she would, work long hours, because I remember she's been with Alaska Airlines for so many years, but I remember when she was working at Incredible Universe. I remember she was working at the gas station, AM PM. I remember when she was even going to, I think it was BCTI, to get her associates. She was always a home cooked meal. Just remember her, I think that was her way of showing the kids love. And the holidays, every time, even now, I was grown. She never and it's not that she didn't want anybody to help, it's that I think she just wanted to do that for us. And since I was little, up until now, to my kids, I see even my own kids, they love, grandma's home cooking, and I do. So I'm gonna miss just seeing her smile. We'll walk in the kitchen, have a conversation, her teaching my kids how to cook certain things. So home cooked meals from Mom, conversations in those kitchens. I think that's one thing. On holidays, Christmas, it doesn't matter. When I flew into Seattle, David picked me up, and what do you see when you get in the house? Mom cooking a home cooked meal for her babies right when we get in town. And that's the same thing when she lived in Seattle, all the way to Long Beach, and right back to Seattle. It's the same thing. She was always in that kitchen.
I think I'm going to miss everything about them. I think it's going to be mainly the small things. I'm going to miss the daily phone calls from Mom, the daily phone calls from Dad asking me why Yeti isn't answering his phone. I'm going to miss Mom sending me corned beef. I am Mexican. I've never even ate corned beef until I entered this family, but I appreciate it. And thanks to everyone who's been teaching me how to cook it. I do appreciate that. I think I'm going to miss the advice, the talks that we would have, and the guidance that we were given. And I'm just going to miss their love. I think that's the biggest thing, is they were just so loving, and they really cared about us and really wanted to make sure that we were okay and everything was situated. I'm going to miss all of Mom's cooking that she would deliver to our house. Sorry, David, that she wouldn't share it with you. It was for us, mainly for me. I will miss that. But no, I'm just gonna miss everything.
What I'll miss about my dad, for those of you who don't know and those who do, me and my dad we clash a lot. And when I was a kid, it was a problem. Many, to put it politely, many corrections, if you know what I mean. And as I got older, I realized I clashed with them because, as my mom would tell me many times after I got a good discipline session, and after I was crying, she would always tell me, the reason why you and your dad are always fighting is because you're just like him. And I used to be ashamed of that. I don't know why, because I'm so proud. It's the biggest compliment my mom ever gave me, is that I'm just like my dad. And I'm gonna miss those contentious conversations. We disagreed about a lot, but we were honest with each other. He told me that he loved talking to me because I was honest with him. So, Dad, I'll miss those conversations with you. And even though you're not here to argue with me now, I can still hear you.
I'm just gonna miss their presence, their love. We didn't say much around each other, but just hanging out with them in the living room, or when we would go to their house to eat dinner, just being around them.
And I'm gonna miss a lot. Our text messages, she'll just text how we're doing. I'm gonna miss her FaceTiming me on her break, telling me what she's eating, and what she's gonna do after work. I'm gonna miss her texting me, what are the boys' sizes? Or what are they into? I'm gonna miss her, how much she loved her grandkids. It was like every birthday, Christmas, Easter, anything, she'll just send it just to celebrate. Even though she couldn't be there physically, she wanted to be there in some way, and she did that every holiday, and the boys knew it and felt it. And I think that's what I'm gonna miss more, is I love her as a mom, but I love her so much more as a grandma because of the joy my kids get when she's there, just because she's all about her grandkids and spoiling them and just loving on them. So yeah, I'm gonna miss Grandma Mile.
What I miss most about Dad is his advice. He would always find a way not to criticize what I was doing, but just to advise me in a calm and subtle way. You know, not like when we were younger, not the yelling, but just the calm. Like it was a father to a grown son, or just like a man to man. You know, he'll call and say, hey, son, don't forget to pray for your kids. It doesn't, if he felt something, he'll call, hey, how's so-and-so? Or how's Jira? How's Jonah? How's Rhonda? Or, you know, those little things that I'll miss, you know, when he just had this sense that he knew something was wrong, he'll act on it right away.
I'm gonna miss Dad's realness.
She told me a story, and I don't know if I'm gonna get it right, so my brothers are gonna listen to the story and be like, that's not how it happened. But I'm gonna try to recount it the best I can. I was getting kind of frustrated with my kids. I think my boys were probably fighting or something while we were at Tony and Rhonda's house. And I just put them on a timeout to separate them. After they went back out, after their timeout was done, Mom told me to cherish them at this age. Cherish the noise and the fighting and the talking back, you know, because once they're gone, they're out of my house and they're gone
For mom, it was always, no matter how old I get, no matter where I go, no matter who I meet and marry, I'll always be her baby, and she'll always love me no matter what, the good, the bad, and all that. For dad, he promised me one thing, or I made him one promise, was that no matter how angry I get, I will never put hands on my wife. And that will stick with me forever.
He doesn't care if I'm hitting him, yelling at him, throwing things at him. I think just remembering, to make sure your partner's your friend, make sure you're respectful, and just make sure that you love each other. I think for me, it's always going to be about love. I think that's the lasting thing that I'll always remember, is just that they loved us. And my future kids one day will know that their grandparents loved everyone, and they loved their kids, and they loved their grandkids, and that they love my kids even though they're not here anymore.
The lasting words is always pray on it. In life or marriage or kids, it was always pray on it. And with me, she knew my temper and stuff, and she was always like, don't say anything, don't do anything, just always pray on it first. The only thing that honestly comes to mind every time I think about Dad is him saying, I love you, sweetie. I love you so much, sweetie.
The thing that will last forever with me for mom is her love and her love of service. She just loved to serve and serve God and serve people and show people God's love through her many actions. At many church events, you'll find her in the kitchen, and that was her heart. And I want to continue that as her son. I know my brothers and my sisters feel the same way. We just want to love deeply and genuinely, like my mom and like my dad. So I think the lasting words for me is just the way that my mom used to say my name. I can hear it now. And she would just say, I love you, son. Actually, that was my dad. My dad would say, I love you, son. And my mom would always say, I love you, Brandon. Just the sweetest voice. And always encouraging us to put God first in whatever we do. I think the other thing I love from both of them is they would always say, we are godly proud. We are godly proud of you. Just the way that they put that, they were humble people, so they didn't want to feel, they didn't want to feel too proud, worldly proud. They made it a point to always say, we are godly proud of you. I love you, Mom and Dad. Things will never be the same, and I miss you. Until we meet again, enjoy your time together.
What sticks out to me always is they always said, put God first. No matter what, Mom and Dad were always like, we want to see you guys again. The only way we'll see you guys is if you have Jesus in your heart. And they would always tell that to the kids during local, that she just wants her family to be saved. And she wants to see us again.
I'd say that as well. A couple of things that they're genuine in like their love for family and their kids. Like you could feel, by their actions that it didn't matter if it was the littlest things or the biggest things. It's taught me that if you do something, do it with your best. Do it with your all. Don't do it halfway. If you're gonna do it, if you're gonna love your family, do it with the best that you can.
Mom had a lot of things that she would say to us. One thing I will hold on to is, as painful as it is, I believe the last time I talked to Mom was my birthday. Even with the breathing mask over her face and her struggling to speak, in her soft voice, she just said that she's okay. Like, I have bad memory, and that's one thing I'm trying not to forget is the sound of her voice. Like, the comfort it gave me, just hearing her speak made me feel safe. Same thing with Dad, because he had many lessons, and he always had a scripture for everything. So the day that Mom passed, they allowed the hospital allowed us to bring Mom into his room. And then as soon as we laid her next to Dad, he just grabbed her hand. He just said that he wanted to go with her, and he wanted to go with his wife. And like I could feel the pain. You could almost feel the pain, and I guess he knew that at that point, after they take her, he knew that from here on out, everything he does is going to be without her presence there, her physically being there. Just hearing him saying that he wants to go with her, even with all of us on video call, and all of us trying to process the Mom passing, like him going through the pain of losing the love of his life, somebody that he spent his whole life looking for, and he found her, he married her, doing ministry with. In his own grief and in his own pain, he looked at his own kids and said, all will be well. Together we'll get through this movie.
Hi, Grandpa and Grandma. It's your grandson, Jara. And I just wanted to say, one thing I'm gonna miss about you, Grandpa, is always coming down and getting us from the airport whenever we would come up to Seattle. I'm always gonna miss that because the airport is never gonna be the same without you. I just miss you being with us, me and Jonah, everywhere. You took us everywhere with you. To the church, took us to go shopping, to the park, and I'm just gonna miss that. Always being around you, just doing errands with you and just being around you. And yeah, and one thing I'm gonna miss about you, Grandma, always feeling loved by you, Grandma, and just cared. Every time you would come down to California, you always have something with you for me and Jonah and Gigi and Jabez. You always had something for us, and I'm gonna miss that.
Hi, Grandpa, Grandma. This is Jonah, your second oldest grandson, and I just wanted to say I'm gonna miss you guys coming down for visiting us for holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas. Miss having you guys come visit us, or we come to you guys. We're not having you guys here, but we still feel your presence in the house, and I'm gonna miss that. You guys coming down and seeing us. One thing I'm gonna miss with you, Grandma, is your cooking. I miss helping you making the food, helping you around the house, coming to Seattle and helping you with the food, whatever you needed with. You know, I always wanted to help, and I'm gonna miss helping you.
Hi, Grandpa. Hi, Grandma. It's your grandson, Juju. I just want to say I miss you and I love you. Hi, Grandpa. Hi, Grandma. I love you and I miss you. The one thing I'm gonna miss about you is Grandpa, when I used to massage your feet and you would give me $20. And Grandma, one thing I used to miss about you is when you would buy the best things for me on Christmas. What I miss about Grandpa is him picking us up from the airport. And the one thing I'm gonna miss about Grandma is her making us cocoa rice in the morning.
Grandma and Grandpa, I miss how much nice you were, and how yummy your cocoa rice was.
Grandma and Grandpa, I miss your food and I miss you, and I like the church that you guys make. Yeah, I do that, Mom.
Say I love you, Grandma.
Love you, Mom.
Say I miss you.
Miss you too.
Yeah. Blow kiss, blow kiss. Say see you later, Grandma.
See you later, Mom.
I love you, Grandpa. I miss you. I love you. I hope you feel better in heaven.
I love you, Grandma and Grandpa. I hope I can see you in heaven, and I miss you so much.
We love and miss you, Grandpa and Grandma.
Oh!
One more time. Ready? Turn. Ready? Go. Jesus loves me and you. Yeah. Okay, John 3:16. Slow. Ready? Go.
John 3:16. John 3:16. For God loved the world, He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever